thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, for episode 352 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. Recorded live from western northeast South Dakota and from eastern southeast South Dakota. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Tommy, some weather we've been having.
Oh, man. That's not even like an icebreaker at this point. Like, that is literally a point of problems in people's lives right now. It is intense right now.
Yeah. So what is it like? I don't know. What do they say? The wind chills is like negative 40 degrees.
Yeah. I earlier today when I checked my phone, the feel like temperature was negative 45. Like, that's too cold.
Yeah. I had to do a little snow blowing this morning. It didn't snow that much, but it had drifted in. So I had to do a little snow blowing and shoveling this morning. And I never have to do this. I had to take multiple breaks to come back inside because my hands were just like,
I know,
like
terrible.
in the danger zone of like actually going to have problems here.
Mm-hmm. I had just a tiny little drift in front of my door, and just scooping that little drift out. Of course, it all blows back in your face. So then you get this little bit of moisture on your face, and within 30 seconds, your face is burning. Like, it is an intense cold that I'm not sure I've felt that many times in my life ever.
Yeah, no coincidence, I guess, here that we are both wearing our Massenomics coats today, is it?
No, those stay on. The coats are required this time of year.
You're wearing the crew neck coat, and I'm wearing, the MSS NMX.
Uh-oh, Tanner, just wait. I'm being silly over here, and I muted you on accident, Tanner.
No.
Okay.
Well, I was just talking about the coats that we're wearing, and you've got the varsity coat, and I have the, the vowel-less MSS NMX coat on.
Yes.
Not a lot of stock of this coat that I'm wearing. There is pretty good inventory of the coat that you're wearing. Probably the best news, though, most exciting news, the navy blue lift Massenomics hooded coat. That one is coming back in stock. I think as we record, it'll come back in stock tomorrow. So when this episode releases to the public, it'll be available for everyone.
That's
pretty cool, huh?
That's like basically an early Christmas present right there.
Yeah, so we weren't sure what we were going to do as far as whether we bring back any of the coats. And I keep saying coats, but by this point, hopefully most people know when I say my one man's coat is another man's sweatshirt.
Yeah, the differentiator is just the amount of washing you have to do, right?
Yeah, like really no washing on a coat. Yeah. I mean, none, little to none, I guess is the general rule of thumb. Before I get too carried away with all of that, I want to talk about, let's pick something. I'm going to talk about SPUD Inc., our good friends over at SPUD Inc., spud-ink-straps.com. The yellow straps that you're all familiar with. Some of the products I just have seen people recently using in the gym is their lifting straps. There's about 20 different versions of SPUD Inc. lifting straps that I saw several different people lifting with today at Massenomics Gym. The elbow sleeves, just as of recently, I saw someone wearing their elbow sleeves, and they have the knee and elbow sleeves both that have the little loops that you can make them easier to get on and off. And the belt squat belt, probably the old standby for when it comes to belt squats belts. SPUD Inc.
It is the go-to
on it, I think. Yeah, it is the go-to belt squat belt. So check out all of those products along with belts and pretty much you name it. If you can fit it in a gym bag, you can get it from SPUD Inc. Check them out at spud-ink-straps.com. Make sure to tell them Massenomics sent you, and if you order $75 or more, you can get free shipping.
Wow.
And they're incorporated.
That was going to be my final question. I was going to say, that is just so good. Is there anything else I need to know?
There's been a lot of questions lately about if they're incorporated or not, and yes, they are in fact incorporated.
Whew, okay. That makes me feel safer about ordering from them.
Yeah.
This show is also brought to you by our friends at Barefoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Barefoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Barefoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.shoes to check out the best minimalist shoes available. Use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. Do it.
Do it. Easy choice. Grr, baby. Very grr. Sorry, I was a little late on that. I almost forgot my line on that one. I was like, line.
Yeah. Where is it? I have big news, Tanner.
Oh, hello.
Just had the first ever encounter with someone wearing Massenomics clothing out in the public. And
did you know the person?
I did not know the person. When
great.
I say out in the public, I got to caveat that with it was in a gym, so it does make sense. You know, it's the right audience. But I was caught by surprise because he had a lift hat on. And I said,
it was the lift hat.
I said, hey,
what version?
The blue flex fit. The blue flex fit with the white, lift imprint on the front.
Yep.
I go, hey, nice hat, man. He goes, yeah, you're on the podcast with Tanner, right? I go, yep, that's me. And he goes, actually, I went to the gym for a while last summer. He was, Big Brandon, I believe was his name. If I'm okay, I said, do not forget it. And I didn't. And then I woke up this morning and I forgot it, but I'm pretty sure it's Big Brandon. He was in town working last summer, went to the gym for the summer, and now he is back in Sioux Falls.
Oh, you know, it's crazy. I talk about it with the gym sometimes. We've had so many members in and out of there over the year that it's funny. There's people's names on the list that I completely blank on anymore. But obviously if I saw them, I'm sure I'd remember, but I just, no offense to Big Brandon, but it's just drawing a blank on that. But did you notice? Did the hat smell like farts?
You know, I couldn't notice that. I think there's enough other stinky people in the room that it masks whatever might have been going on with the hat.
To be fair, though, when someone locally buys a hat, and all I have to do is deliver to the gym, I usually don't fart on it.
Well, there's less packaging involved, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it when people locally buy stuff because I just throw it in a bag and then I leave it on the Atlas Stone platform at the gym. And I'm like, that's
I see that there.
Ever.
Like after a new drop, there's just like a line of bags laying on the Atlas Stone platform, and all right, people bought these here.
Yep,
we're on the honor system. No one take anyone else's.
I don't think nobody ever has. It's kind of funny in Massenomics gym at all. In general, I don't think anything's ever really been taken that I'm fully aware of.
Well, the only mystery
possibly one thing, there's one mystery out there.
I bought a lever belt, and that I'm still not sure that there was malicious motives with that. I mean, a black Inzer lever belt, like belt, I know. Those are the easiest thing in the world to confuse. I'm still giving people the benefit of the doubt and thinking someone probably on accident got them mixed around, took mine. And then whatever happened, one disappeared. Yeah. So I'm down one, but that's fine. I really don't care. So much from lasting a lifetime, right?
I noticed something in your voice there that you sound a little bit. But so because of that, you did buy a new belt, right? We never talked about that actually.
You are right. Yes, I did. That make
with your especially because of your move, Massenomics Gym has a whole bunch of community belts, all kinds of Pioneer prong belts and stuff.
I was fully prepped for the fact that I would never buy a belt ever in my life. I kind of thought that being at Massenomics Gym, I would never have to worry about that. Well, when you move, all of a sudden it's like, damn, I do actually need a belt here. This is something I got to think about. And I have come to fall in love with the Pioneer cut. It's the single prong with the adjustable every half inch. I really had fallen in love with that belt at the gym. We had a couple of them. The ones we had were like the raw, untreated leather, I think is what it was.
Yes, and I really like the look of those too.
And they look good, and they have the Pioneer embossed across the back of it. Like it is just a clean, good looking belt.
Yes,
and that thing gets used a lot too. Like it's broken into perfection.
Yeah, we've got a few of them too. A couple different sizes. Mm-hmm. I'd like to have more of them. I should buy more sometime.
I know they're nice. They're nice, but so when it came time to buy my own belt, then there was a little debate as to, one, do I do full on custom and go crazy with it? And then I'm like, I'm not sure if I want to spend like $250 on a belt and wait 2 months to get it. So the stock was just so nice. I had to go with the stock. Now the stock one, because I think the one we got, you got it when it was a stock belt, correct?
Right. Those tan leather.
Yep. And now that's not the tanned
belts.
leather isn't an option for stock. It's all blacked out.
Okay.
But I got it, and man, there's something about suede. Just suede always looks so good, especially when it's clean and fresh. So I got the all black suede, and I'm loving it so far. 10 millimeters. I think that's all you need. 13 is a chonky belt. 10 is a much.
Your old Inzer was a 13, right?
Yeah, and it was just, that thing was like a rock all the time. Like
especially the 13-inch levers in particular. Like to me, it's because of depending on how the lever fits you, where you're at, and the size of it. There can be a lot of double over with the lever.
Yes.
I think a lot of people don't really realize that when they're first getting into belts is that when there's overlap on the lever, you have like now 26 millimeters thick in some places actually, and it can be quite a bit different.
And there can be some pinching in there too. Like you got to kind of position the belt. I actually kind of forgot about that. It's been so long since I used a lever belt. Yeah. So I do think Pioneer cut is just the way to go. So
because I have an Inzer lever, I have that same belt. I have that you don't have anymore. That actually seems a little fishy now that I say it out loud.
Wait a minute. Did we just solve this mystery?
Yeah. So I do have that Inzer, but I wear the Pioneers, the Pioneer cut prong belts all the time now. Every once in a while, I'll bust out my Inzer lever. For squats only. I do not like to wear that for deadlifts, though.
Ooh, no, and that was my biggest complaint is the lever you can get so tight, and it is nice for squats. You can just clamp it down so hard, but then when it comes to deadlift, like it is too much. And then to find that happy medium, which technically the Pioneer adjustable lever would solve that now, but we don't have any of those in the gym.
Kind of. I think I still for the deadlift, for whatever reason, call it an unfound, just a odd opinion, but I still would prefer the prong on the deadlift, even,
Yes, 100%. I just I don't know why, but that I totally agree. It seems like that's the way to do it. So for now I have the stock one. I could see though someday I could be talked into doing a full on custom Massenomics one. I just didn't have the patience at this point in my life to wait 2 months for that.
Decking it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is episode 352. We should talk about we've made some studio changes already. We alluded to it last week that we're going to be probably changing some things. And to be completely honest and to be fair, I mean, we thought last week did not go how we wanted it to go, right? We were not happy with it. And it's so hard to... Relative to us, it sucked. I feel like we kind of got done thinking that feels like it sucked.
Yeah, I woke up in the morning and I had this feeling and I'm like, why do I feel like something really bad happened? And I just couldn't shake it. And I'm like, oh no. Once you start to think about it, it's like that feeling is, no, the podcast was not up to what our standards are. And not that we have world-class standards for the podcast, but it didn't feel like that passed even what our standards are. So we got to thinking and talking probably way too much about it. I think there was a multiple hour phone call every night for almost a week straight to try and get this thing pinned down.
Well, I mean, we've been up late every night working on this.
The number of nights that we have a phone call that starts at 9 and we're like, oh, this will only go for an hour, and then oh shit, it's midnight right now. Okay, maybe we should pack this up. But that's been going on most of the past week. We've spent a ton of money to upgrade computers, the soundboards, cameras, lighting, all of this stuff, and it's not all totally here and set up yet, so there still is parts that are in a work in progress, but we've spent so much time and effort and money getting this thing to a better state.
Right now, what I'm looking at the setup in the Massenomics Fulfillment Center is there's, $3,000 to $4,000 of new equipment that we put in here over the past 7 days. That is all did not exist prior to this, that does now, in an effort for us to make this more up to snuff to what we think it's going to be. And I already... This episode, maybe we're 15 minutes into it here so far. I can tell it is already. I'm like, yep, this is worth it. We made the right decision with these choices.
Yes, last week at this point, I was looking at you and I wasn't sure how old the potato that you were recording yourself with was. I never at any point saw your voice and face matching each other. There was always this weird delay, and the pixels I was looking at vaguely resembled you. And then there was a few spots where it actually did drop out. God, I'm kind of feeling like we're almost jinxing ourselves here. But
well, all that to be said, we're not under the delusion that everything is 100% perfect right now. And like some parts, you know, we're going to continue to improve stuff as we go without a doubt. And like part of it's just getting used to some of our processes. It'll like inherently get improved over time. But overall, I mean, we're just like a light years ahead of where we were 7 days ago. And part of it's money, part of it's us playing around with it, and part of it is, I don't know, you know, figuring out what didn't work and then helping us lead to what will work or the way that we do need to work. And part of it is just me getting rid of a computer that was like 13 years old and quit trying to like, I'm not sure there's got to be a good analogy for that of like trying to do something with something that's awfully under-equiped for it.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I think it's like riding a horse.
No,
it's
not
with
riding
two
a horse.
asses, I think
It's like riding a horse with an ass that's doesn't eat, like with barely having an ass.
well,
like you can't ride.
It's like everyone else is on a horse with a saddle, and you're like not on a saddle. You're like, what's going on, guys? I can't figure out why mine isn't working as good.
Well, everyone else is driving around in a frickin' Tesla and a Ferrari, and I'm riding a horse. Is what it is. You know, like no, that automobile is never gonna catch on. I'm gonna keep you fools.
You know, there are a lot of problems that you can solve by just thinking about them smarter, but then there is also a point where you just need to throw money at a problem to actually solve the problem.
Yeah. Well, it's really the combination of the two. Like the money alone doesn't get there.
It wasn't a single one of those for us, but it was a combination of them to help where we got here.
Yeah. And upgrading internet and, you know, upgrading some of our storage facilities and just a whole bunch of shit, honestly, that a lot of it just really far over my head too, of the fact that like the amount of IT, what I would call IT stuff that I've done in the last week, just like wildly fucking, or, you know, just like greatly increased my capacity to do that sort of stuff.
And maybe out of all the things we've gone through, like we've been going on Zoom calls and FaceTime calls. Like I've been helping you get a camera set up and going through menus, and we're talking internet speeds and dual band routers, like what band you like, all these little weird, dumb technical things. But maybe the one that I got to give you the most props on, the craziest one, is when you said that you had to go into the terminal to update your shipping label printer. Like that is mind blowing. I can't believe that you actually went through and did that.
Okay, we did actually jinx it, didn't we?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I was wondering if it was just me or not.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
You were talking about what
I was just saying, though, how
really threw it off.
Yes. How absolutely mind blowing it was that you went into the actual terminal on your Mac to program this printer and all these other settings. Like when you told me you were doing that, I'm like, yeah, he's in no man's land. That's never going to work. And then you got on the other side, and somehow our shipping label printer is now compatible with that computer. Like that is mind blowing. I can't believe you did that.
I can't either. That blows my mind. And just even what I understand better about Wi-Fi internet at this point is like greatly increased what I'm understanding here. And but there is still a few things even. Like, I think I probably am going to just hardwire internet into this computer here soon, and then like
always the safest bet.
Yeah, and I didn't have that set up yet by this week, but that's what getting at, that it's a work in progress a little bit. And what we also changed is the live stream. Mm-hmm. Now the live stream is available to people that are supporting members. They can choose to watch on the live stream each week. And historically, we'd live stream that through Discord. Now what we're doing this week, we didn't do it last week. We tried something different. We scratched that. This week, now we're switching to live streaming through Zoom. And that's kind of the system that we think we're going to roll with. You know, we'll see how this goes. It seems to be working all right. But for all of the supporting members that like to tune into the live stream, we believe Zoom is going to be the avenue that we're going to do that. And this is our first test run of that. And I think it works. What do you think?
Yeah. We get Zoom open. You get Discord going. On your phone. If people are doing it that way, it works good for picture-in-a-picture. If you need Zoom in one corner, Discord in the other, because I don't think Discord worked the best for that on its own natively. So, yeah, just all tiny little tweaks that we'll keep messing with as time goes on here.
And then the other thing I'd point out is if you are someone that watches the live stream, I think our video presentation is decent right now on the live stream, but both of us are recording on 2 cameras now. So what you're seeing on the live stream is not the video presentation that will be seen on YouTube each week of this. The YouTube video presentation is significantly better, I think, right?
Right, yes, because the live stream is just going off of our computer's webcams, whereas we have actually another camera behind our computer that's recording us, and that is what we'll use for the actual video, the YouTube footage. So, yeah, like right now I'm looking at 2 cameras with 2 different monitors showing. Actually, I can see myself in 3 places. I can see myself on my computer screen, on the flip out screen on my camera, and then on the recording monitor of my camera. Like, it's kind of trippy if you looked at this whole setup. It's
podcastception.
It kind of is.
Also, I'm in like the lighting that we have. You know, this is a little bit different style lighting than I'm accustomed to. So it really feels like I'm sitting here like under the light, you know, almost just like under the lights of the recording
yeah, I mean,
studio. It really has that vibe.
It's kind of just a miniature version of what we did have in the old studio. Like, it's just miniaturized to work in a tiny little desk office at this point.
Yeah. So I think we're pretty optimistic about it now, about what we're going to be able to do with this. And in longer term, I think it's going to allow us to do some cooler things that we couldn't even do beforehand, right? Like, you know, there's going to be some things available that we haven't done yet. This week we're not having a guest on, but I think we'll do our first guest soon. You know, I don't know if it's next week or when it is, but that will be something we get to soon now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We just want to make sure that we have like 95% of the kinks worked out here before we throw a guest in and start making either bad episodes or just getting over our head and not be in a good spot. But as of right now, things seem to be going pretty smooth. So if we can keep this going for another week or 2, I think we're probably ready to start throwing guests in the mix. Yeah.
Big Lee asked if we'd be Zooming in the guests. That won't necessarily be the plan all the time. We obviously do have some ability. That's one of those things that I was saying we do have the abilities to do now potentially. That will all depend. You know, that's probably something we try at some point with some people, but you know, for the ease of use for some guests, a phone call like we've always done in the past is still going to be our go-to method, I think.
Yeah, if you listen to the show very long, you know, first of all, you know, we're all very grateful for all of our guests. We're not knocking on any of them, but I mean, it's not uncommon for guests to have trouble just answering their phone for interviews. So adding Zoom into the mix might not be the best thing for some of our guests.
Right. And Big Lee mentioned, you know, depending on if they have a solid streaming setup already, you know, we're going to have, just as a teaser here, at some point relatively soon, we're going to have Big Grant from the Strength Co on again. And he does have a setup like that. So it may be like he could be a good opportunity for us to try something out like that with him when we have him on.
Yes, for sure.
Do you have a can over there at all? Or
I do. I'm actually very thirsty. Do you have a can?
I have a can too. So what do you have?
I was going to say on the count of 3.
What if we could have had the same can?
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to pop up a lime can in front of me. But is that lemon or limoncello?
Lemon.
Okay, I was going to say.
I'm not a heathen over here. My God.
Don't be pulling that limoncello out on me.
So I have a Limon LaCroix. And what do you have?
I have the
lime bubbly.
Bubbly.
Let me see if I still have a crispy crack on this one. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you could hear that down in Sioux Falls, but crispy crack.
Oh, yep. Oh, how the hell is Eddie coming in here with video? Some people, I feel like they know how to beat the system.
Yeah.
I think you get mole on your name and you just think a different set of rules applies to you.
Yeah, so the live streamers, just so they know, we're not typically we're not going to allow you to be in here with the video because it's just going to be too distracting for us seeing 20 of you all doing God knows what at your computer.
It would just be a game of who can distract us the most, and we would fail. Like, you guys would win and we would lose that game instantly.
So you're having an old favorite over there, right?
I am. Though. Yep, I had to make myself feel at home here, you know.
Who is it? Is it Big David that keeps our sparkling water spreadsheet on what we've had? And
one of the Davids. Yes,
one of the Davids,
I believe, yeah.
Because this is going to make it kind of confusing going forward on weeks when we have separate cans.
Well, we'll get that part settled in too.
Yeah,
it still is. We're in a transitionary state right now.
That's one of those improvements we'll get as we like some of the more fundamental things that we get pinned down, then we'll be able to start playing with some of the more fun stuff to, have us make sure we have the same can, that sort of thing. But what do you give your
it's a 4.
lime bubbly?
Lime's a 4 all day, every day.
Yeah. Lemon LaCroix. It's funny because in my mind, like, lemon LaCroix is a classic 3.5, but it's really not to me. It's a 4. The lemon LaCroix, I think, to me is a 4. Although it just seems like
it's so refreshing.
What's the epitome of a 3.5? A Pamplemousse LaCroix? Is
probably,
that a 3.5? Like if you looked up 3.5 JD Power and Associates,
that probably is the star of the 3.5s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Pamplemousse.
Yeah.
It actually was funny. Chuck, I was talking to Chuck one day because he doesn't strike me as a LaCroix, a fizzy water type of guy.
Right.
And he's like, oh, God, those things are so addicting. He's like, there's nothing I like more than just waking up in the morning. The first thing I do is crack one and just chug it. And I'm like, yeah, funny. He's like, no, I'm serious. That's my favorite thing to do in the morning is wake up one and just chug it right away. They're so crisp and cold. I love them.
I'll be honest, I'm not a morning LaCroix guy, or I don't know if I've ever had a sparkling water before noon.
I was going to say my rule in my head is like noon. Like I just think, no, you can't have LaCroix before noon.
No.
It's like a dumb unofficial rule, but it's kind of like my rule. It's like,
but
hey, you
it's
don't
still
really
a
drink
rule.
coffee after like, what's your coffee? You're like, I'm not going to drink coffee after 3 o'clock unless I think there's something I need to be awake for.
Right. Yeah. Morning sparkling water is an odd thing. I think that's wrong to do. I'm sure it's wrong.
Well, Big Keith is saying though that bubbly there's the caffeine ones. So I could see how you could maybe make.
Yeah.
But even then, I wouldn't want to do it before like 10. If I feel like I need the caffeine, I think I'd try and wait until 10 before I get my caffeinated sparkling water in.
Right. Tommy, do you know we haven't talked a single thing about anything on our list yet? That's how much stuff we haven't talked about.
Have we actually not talked about anything on? Really?
We have actually not talked about, I don't think, anything on the list.
That must mean. Yep, I'm looking at the list right now. Man, wow. Okay, so I think that's a good sign. We're becoming comfortable with our surroundings, right?
Yeah, and one of our feature topics of today is going to be an update on the 2023 Massenomics Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic Powerlifting Meet in Western Northeast South Dakota. But we're going to save that for maybe the second half. Maybe we'll kick off our supporting members here before that, so that they have that they're left in a lurch here of what's going to happen, that they can't listen till Monday to find out our update on the meet.
And boy, let's just say there are some power moves happening there.
There is big moves happening, but we better save that for now. But so some of the other stuff we've talked about, what do we want to dive into here? We have, of course, our much anticipated Olympia rundown.
I mean, what people come to rely on us for every year is our take on the Olympia. So
we should probably talk about that.
Yeah. Should we dive right into that one?
Yeah, let's. All right, we're almost 30 minutes in. It's a little early, but I suppose we could dive into.
We could dive right in. Yeah, I think we're right. Yeah, we've hit the time here.
Yeah.
So the Olympiad happened. That's bullet point number 1 on what we need to discuss is that it did in fact happen this past weekend.
Can confirm.
We were able, I did.
And I'm pretty sure it's in Las Vegas.
Yes, I believe you're correct there too. It feels like more and more that they're trying to kind of make it an Arnold kind of thing. And I get they are very, very similar in, a lot of respects, but there was some other thing. Well, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the competition.
Putting the old
first.
Cart before the horse, as they might say.
I am. I'm riding one ass on 2 horses again, right?
That's right.
I just can't keep my asses and my horses straight. I'm getting my numbers all mixed up. But the main thing is the bodybuilding, right? Isn't that what everyone's there for?
Yeah, I think the old phrase, as they say, everybody want to be a bodybuilder, but nobody want to lift no heavy ass weight. But these guys do, though.
They do it better than anyone else in the world, you could say. And
yeah. We have just like a series of random takeaways from the event as we've seen it unfold.
This is going to be the worst Cliff Noted version of this thing that they ever could
That's
be.
what we're known for on the Olympia Rundown is our awful Olympia Rundown each year, though, because we know so little about bodybuilding.
Including not knowing any of the names, and then even the names that we have in front of us, we don't know how to say any of them either.
It's really, at this point, the tradition of it is the only reason that we even do this is just that, like, we started doing this and, like, it would seem afterwards, it was like, we don't even know anything about that, and like now we just have to do it each year.
Because at one point it was like, oh, there was like something kind of somewhat newsworthy in the strength training space. That's our job to discuss that, and I think we'd even prep a tiny little bit. Now it's like, no, we're not prepping for this at all. Like, pull up an article and we can read off. So the Olympia winner, Hattie Chupon. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Have you ever heard that name before this weekend?
Well, I've definitely not heard it said out loud because I don't know how to say it. I feel like I've maybe seen the name before. But then when I look at the guy, I'm like, I don't recognize him. Like he
is not recognizable to me.
No. And to be fair, a lot of bodybuilders aren't super recognizable because they all just are massive, especially when they're on stage. They're just hard to tell apart. But yeah, he did not ring a bell. I'm actually, okay, that's his name, but the bigger question is, what's his nickname?
Well, I literally, the whole time we're talking here, all I'm thinking is my biggest takeaway from the 2022 Olympia is the horseshit nicknames. No good freaking nicknames. My favorite part about the Olympia and the bodybuilding is the sick nicknames that these guys have. So no Gift, no Blade.
No Shadow.
Probably, yeah. Okay, the only one that's like iconic to me in the nickname is Big Rammy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what did he get? 5th?
He got 5th. Yep.
Yeah.
I'd say that's outside the podium.
So, I mean, I give it like a D in the nickname scale this year on 2022.
Yeah, that's...
classic physique winner, though, was Chris Bumstead, old C-Bum. So I think, people maybe know him by C-Bum, but is C-Bum that... It's no Blade or Gift.
Yeah, that doesn't really feel like a true nickname. Like, when it's just an abbreviation, I don't know if it doesn't have the same ring to it as the Blade or the Gift or anything like that. But rounding out the top 3 in the men's Olympia, so we had a Hattie Chupon in first, Derek Lunsford in second, and Nick
Never heard
Walker
of him, have you?
In third. Nope, never heard of either one of those. He had to get to 4th, Brandon Curry. I have heard of Brandon Curry.
Yes.
And then, Big Rammy in 5th, but I do not know. William Bonnick, I think he was at the first Olympia the first Arnold we went to. I think he was.
Yeah.
I think he got maybe top 3 there, actually.
Well, so what was the prize winning? How much money did
So first place wins $400,000.
That's a shit pot of winnings.
It is, but it drops off pretty fast from that. Let me find the
400, then 150, then 100. But so even in third place, you're getting $100,000.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
$100,000 is pretty significant.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously $100,000 is freaking significant. I mean, I'm not saying anything going out on a limb there. I think for most people up, they'd be like, yeah, I'll take $100,000. Like,
yeah. All you got to do is like work out harder than anyone else in the entire world, devote your entire life to the most insane diet, and then also commit to taking the craziest drug regimen. That's all you got to do to make $100,000. Like,
yes.
I'm still not sure that's enough, honestly, but
no, probably not to me. I guess it is for somebody, but $400,000, if you could guarantee to get that every year, I mean, probably, I don't know if it's worth the trade off for me still, given a few of those factors, but like, at least that's paying you something that's like, okay, that's a lot. That's
you could like, oh man, you could I don't know, you could lease like a whole fleet of I don't know.
Here's an interesting question. If you got an unexpected $400,000 tomorrow, what would you do, if anything? What would you do in terms of what would you or would you not do?
I actually know. Well, I would first probably nervously think about it for a month straight, every day, all day.
Like, so you do nothing at first.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would. Yeah. I mean, if I did anything, I'd go make a bunch of like dumb, like $100 purchases, like of things that are not consequential.
New pair of shoes.
Yeah. Yes. Like I would just like, all right, here's like 10 shoes I have on a list of shoes that I think would be cool to buy sometime. And that's like, oh, that's something I'll treat myself with over the next couple years. Treat
yourself.
Exactly. But I'll just do all of those right now. But so that'd be the first thing. And then, so the 99.999% of the money, I would just nervously think about what to do with it for the next month. I wouldn't touch it or do anything. Yeah. And then honestly, at this point in my life, it's really hard to say. It'd be a toss up between, because I am renting a house right now, $400,000 all of a sudden covers a lot of house in South Dakota. So I would probably be rolling a lot of that into a house.
Right.
But I have just I've been really into cars for like the last year or two.
So would you part with like $50,000 of it that goes towards a car? What would your car budget be if you could talk yourself into
that's
it?
A tough thing too, because it's also, there is something to like, oh, if I'm going to buy like my first fun car, it still is something to like keep the expectations low so you have something to grow into over time. So I don't know. I'd maybe set aside like 25 or 30 for like a fun car. Yeah. But I don't know if I'd go crazy. Like
you'd buy a used,
I'd probably go, I've told you, I've kind of like said I wanted a C5 Corvette for a long time. I'd probably do that. Like 20 grand, you can get a decent one. And I'd probably set that money aside if I had 400 grand hit my bank account. That's
completely unexpected, you know, like then you could kind of feel guilt free because you're like, well, I spent 20 grand on that, maybe another 5 grand on other just piddly crap. And then, so I still have, and I'm saying this is after you get 400 grand. I know that that's not reality here, but in this particular situation or most, but
that's probably what I do though. What about you?
Oh,
you weren't ready for me to flip it back on you, right?
It's odd to say. And I mean, you would agree with this. I think too. It's not a life-changing amount of like, I mean, I'm not saying that from like a point of arrogance. I'm just saying like from pure reality. It's kind of not a life-changing amount of money for me because I wouldn't change because I would not change my life at all.
You have a banging house, like you're not going to go sell your house and buy a new one.
I'm buying a new house. It would be more than enough. I could pay my house off. That's not actually in today's market a smart choice.
No,
but I would be tempted to do it. You know, with my someone's Big Chiggy said buy a pair of lift shorts. Like, yeah, we could finally afford to like own some of that lift short inventory that we keep around here, I suppose. I would this is like a stereotypical sports athlete thing, but I would probably buy my mom a new house.
Yeah,
you know, and not one. Like not a $400,000 house, but like just not a house even, just like a you know. Not a full up blown house, but like what is it called? What you're living in right now? Like what?
Like a townhome. Yeah, like a place because she doesn't live in the same town as you. So.
Right. Like I'd move her into. Yeah, I would maybe. Yeah, something like that. I would. You know, I'd spend half of it on that, and then as far as little things, I don't know if I would even like. You know, you say a few $100 items. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'd buy anything.
No, you'd have to do this. You'd have to get that pair of Shacknosis.
I honestly was just thinking I could maybe buy the Shacknosis. I don't think I would do it because I could buy, like I've thought so many times and looked at buying the Shacknosis, and every time I get to it, I'm like, I could just keep that money. And like, even if there was, you know, if I had an extra 400,000, say I spent half of it on towards something for my mother, and then I had an extra 200, I don't know if I could make myself buy the Shacknosis. Like, I know that sounds absolutely insane. And maybe I would just do it for the sake of like, okay, here's this one thing I don't need that I got. You know, like I'm pretty good on vehicles. Like we're thinking about upgrading my wife's vehicle anyways. So maybe I would just go ahead and do that. I'm probably going to do that anyways soon. But I guess I'd pull the trigger on I'd pull the trigger on that. Like something I'm going to probably do anyways. I would just be like, okay, now we're definitely doing it.
And now that you've talked, I've already been thinking, and this is one, I mean, I would consider like seriously put some real thought into 400 grand is a lot of money. You could really make a real run at a satellite Massenomics gym location in Sioux Falls. Like that would be the amount of money that you could really like make a splash with that. That would be something that would cross my mind at that point.
That's true. So gym stuff, I really wasn't thinking about gym stuff. Although it's funny, we kind of have bought like my gym wish list is so small. I would maybe go to Big Keith supporting member and say, hey, what's your price on those roundhead York dumbbells? And
there you go.
I would like to have those. Although he's typing now, he'd probably say no, there isn't a price.
Yeah, he'd say screw you, man.
Someone asked about the
over my dead body.
400,000. That'd be the price. Someone said, "Why would paying your house be a bad idea?" And just to elaborate on that a little bit,
in Tanner's situation,
yeah. So my interest rate is so low that
it's essentially free money.
Right. Exactly. So that's the thought. Although, with my reasoning in my head, I'm very debt averse, so I would still be tempted. To be frank, even though it's maybe not the smartest decision. It's maybe not the smartest decision. I still don't think it's a stupid decision. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can go wrong doing that.
Yeah.
Just to be more clear on that, like it's probably it'd still be what I lean towards doing. I don't think it's dumb to do it. from my point of view, it's just that other people could justify how you could turn your money into more money alternatively and come out more ahead in the long run.
Yeah. And I mean, there's also investing. You know, you could kind of, supposedly we're in the dip or going to be in the dip. You could buy the dip hard and then cash out later, right?
Yes. Step 5, profit.
Yeah. Profit hard. Okay, so
so this is our Olympia rundown.
I was trying to figure out how the hell we got there.
Yeah.
I'm glad I had this tab open because I would have no idea how we got there. So, all right. So that was the big boys. Now, what's probably more noteworthy than the big boys was the 212 Olympia results.
This is my favorite part.
Do they? Is the name 212? Do they use lightweights and heavyweights? Like what name do they go with there in bodybuilding for the lighter guys? Is it just 212?
I think you say the 212. Yeah, I think that's what they say. You're like, what division are you in? You're like, yeah, I'm in the 212s.
But if you were on,
I think it might as well also be called like under 5'5".
Oh God, yeah.
Division.
And if you spent any time on Instagram or the internet in this past week, you probably saw the very meme-worthy image of someone decided it would be a good idea to have Brian Shaw hand out the awards to these guys. And it looks like someone's dad that likes to lift weights is handing out awards to little children. It
looks like when you're walking with your kids and they stand in between the two parents and you hold up their arms and swing them.
Yes.
It's like
that is exactly what it looks like. And it's just so absurd. Like, and then it doesn't help that Brian Shaw's wearing a suit. So of course it has to be cut like a box to fit him, you know? So that just adds to the absurdity of it all. But those images, I actually thought
they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have had him do that.
They shouldn't have. That was a dumb idea. And I did think the first time I saw that those were fake. I thought there's no way these are a real image, but
and let me be clear, I'm glad they did it. They should.
Hilarious.
Someone there should drop the ball. I think though that like for their sake that.
It's just people are laughing, are getting too much enjoyment out of it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. The bodybuilders are being laughed at sort of in that situation. I think
Yeah, because you're just like, oh look, these guys are enormous, but they're so tiny.
Yeah.
That's not the takeaway you want to get from a bodybuilding show ever.
No.
So yeah, check out those photos if you haven't seen those at all. And then really rounding out our competition coverage here when we get to the classic physique, which I think is really picking up a lot of steam as far as popularity goes among people.
Yeah, and what's the logic behind that? I suppose like the look of the full-on bodybuilders is a little very unrelatable to everyone. But to be fair, the classic physique look is not realistic for anyone either. But maybe I think it's just a little.
I think it ties into more of like the desirability. Like if people look at these guys and say like, oh, if I could have my dream physique, I think it's getting to be fewer and fewer people every year would pick the top Olympia guys, and more people identify with, oh yeah, my dream physique would be in that classic physique.
Everyone loves this Bumstead guy, right? I mean, like he's super popular and
C-Bum, yeah, he seems.
I don't know that much about him. I just kind of do. I'm peripherally aware of his name, and
he's the only name I even recognize in the group. And I know I've heard him, but I don't know much about him at all. Other than I think he's a 4 or 5 time winner of this now.
I assume at this point it's very much in everyone's best interest for him to win.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like as the face of this, and
to have the big name people winning, like it always looks better, right?
Yeah.
So that pretty much rounds up our competition coverage.
Oh, he's Canadian.
There was also
neighbor to the south.
Men's physique, wheelchair Olympia, Miss Olympia, fitness Olympia, figure Olympia, bikini, women's physique, wellness. Like I don't know.
I have no
difference
notes
between
on
any
those.
of those things. Yep. Like I have no idea what those are. I mean, I hardly can. I mean, I don't even keep up with the men's side. So
I have a guess of what the one that's called wheelchair is.
Just a guess. I mean, it's just a guess. But
I'm not positive what that one is, but I kind of feel like I might know what that one's about.
Yeah. I have a feeling you're probably right there. But again, I haven't seen it, so I can't say for sure if you're right or not.
Yeah.
Other things, takeaways from the Olympia. Okay, I saw a lot of footage of
the rhino cage, right?
The rhino cage.
If your Instagram feeds look a little like Tommy or I's do, what you would have noticed from the week for sure is the rhino. Was it called the rhino cage or the stand?
I think it was.
Yeah, there was no cage, to be fair. That obviously is a la the animal cage from the Arnold.
Yeah, heavily inspired by.
Yeah. And there was a whole bunch of the usual suspects that we all have come to know and love over the years, all lifting there, right?
There was, and it looked
a whole
like
bevy of past podcast guests, I think, actually.
There was, but you know what my big takeaway from it was? Is looking at that, maybe we had the wrong angles, but the crowd was non-existent for that, right?
It didn't look like anything. It certainly didn't look like the Arnold, did it?
It looked nothing like the Arnold. Even the Strength Co. last second at the Arnold this year threw together a significantly bigger crowd than that. And I don't know if that's that's the Olympia. Not that many people go to it. I've never been there. I don't know. Like I'd imagine there's thousands of people that go, but it's still got to be much smaller than the Arnold. But I was just shocked at how few people there were actually watching this thing.
It kind of did it give you the feeling of justification? Like, yeah, we're not missing out by not like having a booth there.
That's what it felt like to me. Like, and to be clear here, I'm talking about the expo part of the Olympia, not the competitors on the main stage for the men's shows. I have no idea what that's like. But as far as the expo goes, there just didn't really seem like there was people in the background at all, which I would have been hyped if the background was like popping and there was a ton of people. We would be having a conversation right now saying, "Oh, that looks so crazy.
What do we need to do to get there?"
Yeah, exactly. But that was not my takeaway from that at all. Other than there's a bunch of people I recognize, but then there's no one there to watch them.
Yeah, I do think. I mean, historically, the Olympia Expo is not, remotely the Arnold Expo, so it's not surprising. I just don't think that. The Arnold, I mean, what is the biggest part, in your eyes, what is the biggest part of the Arnold?
Well,
to me,
we're a little biased, but it's the Expo.
I think it's the Expo.
Yeah.
Think of people, there's some, and that's amongst some enormous competitions going on there, because you can make a case for the pro strongman show being the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. You could obviously make a case for the bodybuilding show to be the biggest thing, but
you have to be really
what percentage
into
of
one
people
of those
even
things
there? Yeah.
To say
what
that
percentage of the people that go to the Arnold even go to that grand, the grand ball Arnold?
Yeah, spend like the $80 to go in there and do it. And I would say everyone should do it once, but there's a good chance after you do it once, you're probably like, yeah, that was good enough for me.
And to be honest, I kind of was falling asleep the time that we went to it. So
man, especially when it wasn't the strongman part, it got.
And to say when I was kind of falling asleep, like I was like falling asleep. I may have even dozed off at times because it's so dark and quiet in there, and it's after really long days of doing
getting
other
to finally
stuff.
sit down. Yep.
You're like, oh, it's so dark and quiet in here and cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else on the
I think
Olympia?
That was everything from the Olympia. Yeah, I just saw traces of the expo, but it just looked like a much smaller ordeal than what I even imagined, and then of course didn't keep up enough on. Actually, kept up just enough on the competition to give people that outstanding coverage we just provided.
Yeah. How do you feel about me hitting us all with a little supporting members?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay, I'm gonna do that then. I thought I saw someone in here mention that someone else. Oh, okay. Supporting our members is a relatively newer segment to the Massenomics podcast. And what it is we have these supporting members that pay us a little bit each month to be in the supporting member crew, as we've dubbed it. And they get a bunch of perks back. It's kind of is Perk City population, all supporting members. They get things like to watch the podcast live like they are now, and they kind of get to interact with the live podcast. They're typing things that we're looking at. It's influencing what we're talking about.
Providing live feedback.
Yeah. So by being a supporting member, you can influence what we do directly on the Massenomics podcast in live time. So that's a cool perk. You get in our Discord, which is an extremely active community going off every day, almost 24/7 at this point. There's activity in there, a lot of silly goose stuff, some serious goose stuff going on even there too. You get a discount code that you can use on our site, good towards everything that we sell, except for it's maybe not good towards additional supporting memberships.
Yeah,
you can't use the discount code
for
to
that.
get
Besides that,
cheaper additional supporting memberships, which is a funny thought. And then one of the other perks is we have this segment where we give back to a few of them each week. So first thing, Big Tyler, his birthday was today. So happy birthday.
Happy freaking birthday.
Yeah, big Canadian Tyler, our neighbor to the south down there, probably experiencing some of this, probably some weather he's been having down there.
It's probably
too.
on his way to him right now. It's still getting there.
Then Big Chiggy, who I saw was listening along live, was getting chiggy with it tonight. He had his Jug AI meet, and in his Jug AI mock meet, he had a 550 squat, excellent squat, a 420 bench, #blaze it,
yeah,
and a 530 dead for a 1,500 even total.
That's nice. 1,500.
1,500. That just makes you feel real good when you get done, doesn't it? Yeah, yep, 1,500. Hit that one. And then Big Daniel, there was a correction. We had him on Sporting Members last week. They thought it was a 45-pound bar. That's what they were giving out the numbers as if it was a 45-pound bar. They forgot to add in that it was a 55-pound bar in the meet. So everyone totaled 10 more pounds than what they thought. So it actually made his squat, it was like 590. It made it a 600-pound squat, something like that. So that's kind of a good bonus at the end where you're like, but then if you're the guy that missed his third attempt,
you're like,
they're like, yeah, sorry, we had
here.
10 extra pounds on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of shocking though, because how much people know about equipment that someone wouldn't. Well, I guess, but if you think if you just assume everyone's got it right, then that.
Well, and what's the software that most people are using now? I mean, is it
like
part of
Open
what you had?
Yeah.
Didn't you kind of make some of OpenLifter?
Designed pretty much the whole interface for it. So if you have a meet running that,
humble brag,
it was pretty much concocted by yours truly here. I mean, I didn't do any of the coding or anything. I just said like, hey, I helped them out. I said, hey guys, like, this
you
makes
just
sense
did
to
the
go here.
important shit.
Yeah, I just did the stuff you look at. So besides that, I didn't do anything.
You let the nerds
besides
handle the nerd stuff.
Yeah, just everything you look at was me. That's all I did.
Yeah. Then last one, of course, not least, giving direct credit for this. I was thinking, well, this wasn't really in supporting our supporting members yet, but Big Nate created Massenomics.bingo, and like that needs to be in officially supporting our supporting members on record. So if you haven't been playing along this week with Massenomics Bingo, shame on you. Also now open it, and it's Massenomics.bingo is the URL, the website address for that, Massenomics.bingo. You can play along. What did he say? It's actually your bingo card will be refreshed each Monday.
Yes,
morning.
I believe that is what he said. Yep.
He corrected that. So you play along, and many of our your card will be populated with our common catchphrases that you will have heard of say many of by this point of the podcast, and you get to check them off as you go. And
maybe we should
get a good bingo.
Maybe we should each throw a freebie their way right now. What's your catchphrase you would like to put out there, Taylor?
Bring locked and loaded, bring in the heat. I don't know if that's on the bingo card, but it is like the classical catchphrases of ours.
It is,
so
and I still just laugh every time I see Chris. What's his name?
So there's a couple bingo cards. Big Grant told me he was playing along this week as he's listening, and he's like, I love Massenomics.bingo now. He's like, I almost couldn't really concentrate on what was being said because I was so specifically listening to what is being, like referencing my bingo card.
Yeah, he just could. Yeah, he was too in the zone. He's playing the game. He wasn't here for fun. He was playing.
Yeah,
I should say he wasn't here. Just scratch what I was saying there. I don't know what I was saying.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks, Big Nate, for getting that. And thank you to all our supporting members. We really appreciate each and every one of you. That's about it, right? On supporting our supporting members. Should I hit them with a little something here, or should I hit?
We can, but I wanted to say something first.
Okay.
And that's that in 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded SwissLink. He had a partner based in Switzerland, and their mission was to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items from military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for SwissLink, he brings in everything you can imagine, from Czech Army bedpans to Italian champagne glasses. Now, this part right here, the ad, is something that stuck out to me this week because people were discussing chalk bowl alternatives. And someone did bring up that the best chalk bowl is the Army bedpan. And I like to think that that really is the best chalk bowl option.
I wonder which Army it was, what Army surplus, what Army the bedpan was from. I can't remember.
Well, the ad is a Czech Army bedpan.
Okay, Czech. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think that Big Mo would discriminate against certain armies if a bedpan came up and it was from, let's say, Italy.
Anyone, yeah.
Or any other place with an armed force.
Big Mo's got a damn bedpan fetish. He'll get any of them he can get his hands on. Also, and for the sake of Massenomics bingo, my wife lived in the Czech Republic for a year.
Did she really?
Side note. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now she's got a blanket from a blanket from Swisslink.
Yeah. Well, it's not Christmas yet. Tommy, so
well, she doesn't listen to this. So,
don't say that too loud.
Well, actually, by the time this comes out, Christmas has been long gone. So
yeah.
But if you're interested in all this bedpan blankie talk over here, you can go to swisslink.com and find all of these classic items along with a great selection of military issue backpacks, tools, NATO fuel cans, gas masks, emergency food, first aid kits, and more. Massenomics listeners can save 15% off their first order from swisslink.com with code MASS, MASS, at checkout. Thank you, Swisslink.
Thanks, Swisslink. Now, Tommy, I'm going to hit us with something else. And I would just say, based on what, the intro that you played for us, that you play each week, I wouldn't worry on your end if this doesn't sound perfect because that intro to me didn't sound like...
Okay, yeah. All it needs to do is just sound good on your end, we know.
Right.
As long as the levels are appropriate there, we're good.
That's a little peek behind the curtain as we're talking
Peeling
about
it back.
Yeah. That's not us being unprofessional and unprepared. That's us intentionally giving you a peek behind the curtain.
I think that's called, breaking the third wall? Is that what we were doing
That's what we just did, yes. Call us the office because we just shattered that third wall.
Breaking the third curtain is what we're doing over here.
So here we go.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron. Only available from the Strength Company.
Yep, I'm glad you
warned you about
me
that.
There. I'm glad you were doing some third wall shattering because that prepped me. I would have been going into panic mode.
Yeah, and I think I was thinking on my end, as you hit that to roll to start off the thing, I'm like, why does it sound like that? And then I'm like, wait a second, it doesn't matter because he's recording it on his end, so it doesn't matter what it sounds like to me right now.
And that's called improvising and thriving.
So for more third wall breaking, I have a separate board now here too, which the cool part of that means is we have now like twice the buttons. So I have
twice the
cool
boards.
Things to. Should we say goodbye to the supporting members?
Maybe we'll run through like this is a real thing. So maybe we'll kick them out of here.
Okay. Just for the sake of making them have.
This is our dress rehearsal, right?
Right. And while we're doing that, I've loaded a couple buttons here. I was talking about having more buttons, and I just want to, for the sake of me getting to press some buttons, I want to press another button and see what I've got here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Massenomics is in the house!
I love that one. That's
a good one.
By the time the audio gets to me, it kind of sounds like it's an old ghost saying it.
Well, it is Gino.
Yeah.
It's an old pirate.
Yeah. I'm close. Pirate ghost. There you go.
Yeah. So it's funny because our the booting off process now that our live stream is on Zoom is slightly different than it's been in the past. So I could see you kicking them out one by one because now it's more of a one by one process. The good part about this live stream feature is is there a limitation of how many can get in here? I don't think it's anything we'd ever hit.
I think Zoom, it's like 1,000 people with the plan on. It's something like that.
And before we were limited at 25.
Yeah, so. Discord did limit it out at 25.
Yeah, so that's a plus, but it's also funny. I can see them getting kicked out one by one.
It is funny, though. I admittedly don't use Zoom very often, so I'm by no means a Zoom power user. But when I do kick them out, each person asks me if I want to report that user to Zoom. So naturally, I reported every single one of them. So
yes.
None of them will be here anymore.
All right. Let's see. Got to see what we're kicking off to now. Well, I've talked about our feature presentation being an update on the meat, right? Do we want to talk about that now? We've been recording for quite a while already.
God, we have an hour. It's kind of shocking. Oh, we had we had two tiny things in here. Do we need to go through those, or can we save those for later?
I wonder if we should save those.
Okay. We'll just save them so they're like super not relevant then, right? Well, anything from this episode is already 2 weeks behind, and then we'll just save it so it's like a full month behind.
That's another good point too, is historically, for the last, 100, 200 episodes, we kind of do this process where we record and maybe, 5 days later, the episode gets published.
Mm-hmm. It's always, 90% of the time it's record on a Wednesday, release on Sunday night, Monday morning.
Yeah, so five days. Right now we've got an extra week tacked onto that because of these changes. We just wanted extra buffer at one point in time there, and at some point we'll probably utilize taking a week off and then get to where we are just like 5 days out again instead of 12 days, so that things are maybe a little more timely as you hear them.
Yeah,
but with us getting more familiar with everything we're doing, it's nice having that
a little buffer is appreciated for sure.
But son of a bitch, this is working so much better than last week. God,
it is.
So I'm so relieved right now, just talking in real time.
It's very funny because we were talking about that, and then there was, I don't know, was it around like the 20-minute mark? There was like I don't know why there was like a 5-second glitch in there, but outside of that, this has just felt like a regular ass podcast. Like,
if we have if we have one 5-second glitch each episode, that's totally not a big deal. I
can live with that. I think the listeners can probably live with that too.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the meat though. The Massenomics meat. Bring in the meat.
We're an hour in. Now we can officially dive into this. Yeah.
So the real thing is, I don't think prior to this week, I said it already in this episode, but I don't know if we had the official meat name yet. Have we? Like when we recorded, have we had the meat name, or maybe we did?
I think we did. I think we just decided. I don't know. I'm not sure if we even announced it last week though.
Okay,
no.
But it is the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic, hosted right here in sunny, beautiful Aberdeen, South Dakota, western northeast South Dakota. July 22nd. It's a Saturday, 1-day event. USPA sanctioned, untested meat, and none of this that I've said so far is new information. If you've been listening to the podcast, that's all recapping. But what's new to it is we did open registration for it, and to be frank about that, we did open it first to gym members and Massenomics gym members and Massenomics podcast supporting members.
Just another benefit right there.
That's exactly right. It is a benefit. This is a real life benefit right here to being supporting members, because what's happening, what we're experiencing is, I'd say when we started really talking about this meat thing, we weren't positive what the turnout was going to be. And I guess we were fairly confident we'd get the people to want to do it. There'd be enough, but I don't know that I knew it was going to be what it turned into of people wanting to get signed up for this. Like, I don't think that was my expectation.
I think in the very beginning we'd said like, we probably thought we could get, I don't know, if we're lucky, 5 or 10 guys from the gym. And if we were really lucky, 5 or 10 people from the Discord would collectively show up. So we thought, if things go great, maybe like 20-ish people that we directly know would sign up for this thing.
Yeah.
And boy, were we wrong.
Yeah. So we originally opened to 45 slots. Those filled up before even advertising it to any general public. Just gym and Discord people filled up those first 45 slots in less than 48 hours, of it going live. It was, that was filled up. So then next thing was open up a waiting list. If they got 15, they'd let 15 more in a hard cap of 60. And we're there now. The official last 15 that have been made it, as we're recording, hasn't been. We don't know who they are exactly, but by the time this comes out, that'll be out there for sure. But then there will be a waiting list beyond the 60, because the way powerlifting works. Some people will get hurt or whatever, or, you know, maybe there'll be a conflict. They won't be able to do it. So there probably will be a few people that stick on that 60, beyond 60 waiting list that will get a shot to sign up for it later in the year if they still want to, you know, so it's worth being on the waiting list. Even now, as you're listening to it and you're like, damn it, I should have done it. Still email Dave. Big Dave from North Dakota is the meet director. DM us if you need his email or his information, or go to USPA and look at the events and scroll down to July 22nd. You'll see the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic is on there and Dave's email, and get him emailed and get on the waiting list if you want to, because you could still get on there potentially. And we want to see how much of a demand there is. So, in, you know, say we do this again, then we know we could potentially make this a 2-platform bonanza. Like, you know, we could blow it wide open next year if we feel like that's.
And when you say next year, you mean like a year?
Yeah, or maybe 6 months.
But
maybe we'll do 2 a year. You know, it's like anything's possible at this point. So
that is, yeah. And that's what, and that we definitely are keeping that mindset. Like, hey, this is our first thing. It's a learning experience. We're going to do everything we can to make this thing awesome. But yeah, if people are showing like there's a demand for this and people enjoy it, like we have no problem like going all in and like making this thing crazy, like a bigger venue, more platforms, like more everything.
And it's not to say this year won't be crazy. It's just that it is a hard cap at 60. So no matter, even if 200 people want in, we're just sticking to 60. That's just kind of a decision we made. And the venue that we have, that's kind of what it can support, in our opinion. You know, if we go bigger, we need to go to a different venue for the next one. But we can support the 60 that we're working with at this venue. And speaking of the venue, it's in the American Convention Center, and it is something that was kind of essential to us. It is attached to a bar, so that's a cool part that fits in with us, right?
That was almost a deal breaker for us if the venue did not have like alcohol and beer readily available on site,
right? Because it really is. In our process of even thinking of what the name for it is, we threw around a lot of ideas, and when we come back to Lift Hard, Live Easy, it's like that's what we want the meet to be. Like, it's hard to not name it that, because that is such an accurate description of how we envision this meet, don't you think?
100%. Well, and then when you factor in that we have so many people traveling from far away that, yes, are showing up to lift hard, but some of them might even say that the more important part is the living easy for the everything around it. And there's going to be a ton of that. So that is what gets us so excited for this.
Right. And our plan is, the bar will be attached, and maybe that'll open at like noon or whenever we tell them to open it, probably. But then also, I think about the time that deadlift starts, that's when we would bring out, the free keg, or
the
kegs
keg rolls
or whatever.
Out and the party really, really kicks off then.
Yeah, because we have the convention center all night, so we can roll from the meet to the after party somewhat seamlessly. I think, like when we're waiting for awards and stuff like that, that's the start of the party. And I don't know, it'd be nice to have food there. We don't know exactly what that looks like yet. There's food trucks in town and other people like that. We could, I'm not saying that we're going to provide a whole pile of free food for 200 people, but like just have food options there for people so that they don't feel like they have to leave and come back, or, just to have some options there. So I think that's the general vibe, and maybe a little bit of rearranging post meet so that it feels more like a hangout space than a meet space.
Right, like the disco ball, smoke machines, that type of stuff, right? Right,
yeah, that's the classic party scene.
Like, move the platform, we got to put a dance floor down here.
I'm extremely excited for it. Like, it's my favorite thing to talk about right now.
Oh,
honestly, like I just want to talk about it with everyone.
I do actually tell my wife about it, and I sometimes think that she's like, I can't tell if you're being serious with the things you're saying right now, because every time I bring it up, it's just getting more elaborate and bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're still like 8 months out, Like,
well, that's the kicker. The kicker to me is how far away it is, that I'm like, I have to dial it back just a little bit, because it is so far away.
Like, that is
kind of kills me how far away it is now, because I really want it to be next month.
I do too. And then you're like, oh no, a lot's going to happen. Like, going to go to the Arnold again.
Yeah.
There's a whole spring. Basically, almost all of summer happens, and then it's this thing.
Yeah. I do think it's going to be a big deal for us, though. For the Massenomics brand, and it is maybe one of the next big things that we can get into, is like doing this like an annual party for everyone that's feels like a part of Massenomics in whatever capacity.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to get to this, that is like
it's going down.
Yeah. And like, obviously not everyone can get to it and stuff, but that's why if it goes well, we can do it again. And it's like, yeah, you get your chance again this next time.
Yep. And you could walk in and be like, I've never seen any of these people in person, but I'm also
I
best
feel
friends
like I
with
know
all
them
of them.
all. Yeah. Yeah. So of note, honestly, everyone is of note to me because I know everyone almost that signed up to do this. So that's cool. People that may be getting excited about quote unquote big lifters. Well, the biggest one is confirmed he's doing it. Dan Bell says he's competing in the meet, which is awesome. I'm happy if he just shows up.
Yeah, when you said that, I kind of thought you were lying at first. Like, I really did not believe it that Dan Bell would be coming to this meet. But
even if whatever something changes, he decides he doesn't want to do it, he just wants to hang out. Either way, that's super cool. And so because he's doing it, then Jonathan Oldham was already planning on coming, but then he's like, well, I should probably just do it too.
He can't watch everyone else have fun.
He can't not do it. So he's signed up now, and then kind of caught us off guard. Lindsay Loves to Lift signed up. Her last name I think is like Gray or something like that, but I think everyone know, like, if you on Instagram you follow her by her Instagram handle, and she's also from Florida like Dan, and she is signed up to lift, and she is extremely competitive for her. Like, she's squatting 400 plus, deadlifting 400 plus, benching 200 pounds, and weighs like 135 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. And it just is going to be fun. All those people, the three of those, for example, big, very strong, very competitive lifters, but also three people that obviously like to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it fits in. Like,
yep, totally.
I don't have anyone in mind, but someone that's extremely strong and that maybe isn't known for, that wouldn't like to go to a party of this sort.
Right.
Like, it wouldn't be as exciting for them to come, honestly. Like, for me, I wouldn't be as excited
as much.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So it really does fit the vibe. But just like the mix of, there'll be a bunch of people who it's their first meet, but they're just big into the Massenomics scene and want to come do the hangout. And then Dan Bell will also be there, doing it. It's just a wild thought.
We were even saying, like, there's a good chance. I guess you've seen the list, so you know better than me, but there's a good chance, like, there's going to be a guy in a flight and you'll have your weight and you'll be the heaviest guy. And then the next bar weight is going to be many hundreds of pounds heavier than whatever you did, because Dan is the one following you up.
Right. Well, no matter what, when it goes to Dan, well, I suppose if Jonathan's in there, there would be a
but like,
couple
it's not,
jumps there.
I mean, it's totally 100% respectable that, like, in a heavyweight flight for men, that the last deadlift is somewhere in the 700 pounds. And it's like, well, you did that, but then also now they're going to have to, like, load the bar many hundreds pounds heavier for the last guy.
Yeah. What else about it? There's just a lot of stuff that we have in the works now that a lot of it hasn't materialized yet, but potentially could be a live stream of the event, which isn't something we were, had planned out that much, but I think that could definitely happen. I think we will have a variety of cool vendors there.
Yep.
Some people that are really wanting to get in as sponsors. I think we really picture this as the Massenomics meet. The sponsor of this meet is Massenomics. But there may be some of our inner circle companies that just really want to get involved in it. Like Frank from Lift Evil was talking about wanting to come and do it. Grant was probably be here, but also talking about maybe even, like, does he do the meet too? So it's kind of this funny thing. All the people want to come, but then they're also like, well, maybe I should just do it if I'm there too.
Yes.
Because it has this vibe of how fun it's going to be that nobody wants to miss. You're like, well, like, they're all doing it, I want to do it.
Yeah, like, how many times can you say you've done a meet with like 50 plus other people? Like, that's such a rarity.
I know. And
outside of like right. On top of that you like, yeah. If you're a big name person, you've done big name meets, but there's a good chance you probably don't like most of the people in it. Where here, like, you probably do like all of the people in it, and all of them too.
I'm glad that there's obviously that we're finding out there's a demand for this, because this really is, I think, shaping up to be a very Massenomics meet. where
Absolutely.
you know, it's like,
because that's what we were a little scared of at first. It's like, is it going to be the thing where it's like, well, 10 or 20 people we know, and then it's 40 randoms, and it would still be fun, but it just doesn't have the same vibe to it as if it, like everyone's on the same Massenomics page.
Right. It's going to be real damn fun.
It is. It's going to be an awesome weekend, like no doubt about that.
The killer for us is if we don't do it though, that's just like,
I know. And this
hard.
is like the first year, maybe we have to sit out the first year, maybe not.
Yeah.
But then like the second year, and we know how things go and they're smoother.
Right.
Like maybe that opens up to like, all right, yep, we can totally do it then.
Yes. Anything else that we need to hit on as far as the meet goes as of yet?
I mean, it is like a work in progress. Like things are always changing. If you think you have any desire to get in, shoot Dave that email. Chances are you're not going to get in at this point, but you never know. Something drops out, plans change. Maybe you can pop up on the list and get your spot, but it's going to be a ton of fun. Like it's going to be a blast the whole weekend.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing too. It will kind of, with so many people traveling in, it will be like, I know the meet is one day, but in my eyes, especially for us being the hosts, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is just going to be a wild trip of, just because there's so many people to hang out with and talk. Like it does.
It's going to sort of feel like that high school reunion thing where it's like, okay, I think I know you, but do I know you again? And actually it's the Arnold thing all over again. Okay. What's your name in the Discord, or what's your Instagram handle?
What it is. Okay.
Is your profile picture that? Okay. Yep. I got you now.
My other thing is, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or just in person otherwise, but I would kind of relate it to the feeling of your wedding day too, where you have so many people there that you like and want to talk to and stuff, and you're in this wild whirlwind of a day, and you get to the end of it, and you're like, I don't feel like I talked to anyone. Like I don't feel like I got to hang out with any of the
equally among 100+ people, which makes no time for anyone.
Right. So, that's a good problem to have. It means you're having a blast and the day is just flying by and it's cool. But I'm kind of predicting it to feel like that.
I think that'll be a very accurate representation of how it's going to be when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Just pumped about that.
Yeah. As it gets closer, it's only going to get more exciting too.
Yeah. You know what else is exciting?
What?
A little game we like to play called Has He Seen It? Do you want to play Has He Seen It this week?
I do. I'm actually starting to feel pretty confident in myself now. I've been hitting some good numbers these last few weeks.
And I think you called out this year in the past, and boy, are you right. 1999, that's the year we're playing this year.
Was that the year for movies?
Oh my God, the movies in 1999. So I'm
not saying they don't make them like they used to.
Well, I knocked a bunch off the list, and then there's still a bunch I had to keep on the list because I'm like, well, I can't knock all of the, we gotta. But we're not going to talk about The Matrix.
Yeah, can't say that one.
And we're not going to talk about Austin Powers' Spy Who Shagged Me because we always talk about Austin Powers.
Yeah. Can't do that either. That's fair.
And then these are just ones that are not on the list because other ones are on the list. I'm not going to do American Pie because the list is just too long, and I already know you've seen American Pie, right? Like this isn't the game, but okay.
Yeah, I think I've seen the first. I mean, was it 3 that you would say like were really like the whole cast and crew? Was there 3 of them? And then after that, they started to really spiral off in different directions.
And then Big Daddy, I also kept off the list.
Yeah, that's fair.
Adam Sandler. We talk a lot of Adam Sandler. Mm-hmm. Boondock Saints was also from that year, and I didn't have it on the list. I don't know if
that is one I've said before I've never seen.
Okay,
that is
and I left it off the list just because I had to I didn't want the list to be 30 long.
That's what I've always felt guilty about never watching that. Yeah, seems to be one of those cult classics.
So that's not officially the game, but you probably do need to watch Boondock Saints.
I do. I know that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's good, but overrated.
I'm curious. I feel like about the time we were in college, that was like everyone had a Boondock Saints poster in their like college house somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm curious if that still exists now.
If you're 20 yeyears old, do people talk about Boondock Saints? They did when we were 20 years old.
Do Boondock Saints posters still exist in college house party houses?
Like they did 10 and 15 years ago. Yeah, that's a good question. Someone let us know if you're of that age. Are you ultra aware of Boondock Saints? And do people go out of their way to say how much they like how much Boondock Saints resonates with them. I think for the record, I think Boondock Saints is good. I also think it's kind of overrated by the nature of it. Okay. So we're going to get into the game here though. This first one is a personal favorite of mine, so it had to be on the list.
Well,
here.
How many are we doing here?
We're going to do 7. So what do you think you're going to get?
I'm going to go. I want to say 5, but do I want to say 6?
I tried to pick I'm going to
say 5.
tell you,
I'll
I
say
picked
5.
a few. I want to throw I just didn't want you getting just to be so easy, so I threw a couple. You'll know them all, generally speaking. And
yep, I'm going to say 5 because there might be a few curveballs in here. Just to make
there's
the
a few
game interesting.
curveballs, I think.
Okay, I'll go 5.
Okay, have you seen it, Varsity Blues?
I've never seen all of it, no, because it falls into that sports movie thing, and I just struggle with sports movies. I remember high school football before games on Friday. A couple times you'd go to guys would get together, you'd go to a guy's house. It'd be on in the background, but I can't honestly say that I've really sat and watched the whole movie.
We had in my college house, we had Varsity Blues on a DVD, and we would watch it every time before we would go out for a few years there. As you're pre-gaming, as you're doing the sitting around watching TV version of pre-gaming. I probably watched at least part of Varsity Blues 50 plus times, I don't, in this point anymore, I can't even tell you if it's good. It's just so much at a certain, you've just seen it so much.
A part of who you are.
Right. That's where I'm at on Varsity Blues, but personal favorite of mine, of course. I don't know. It's just a lot of funny one-liners. I mean, they're one-liners to me because if you watch it so many times, you have it memorized. So everything's a one-liner almost, but okay. So that's a no. This next one, popular movie, but to be fair, I haven't seen it. But maybe you have. Have you seen it, American Beauty?
Yes, I have actually.
Okay.
I have seen this one. It's been a long.
It probably won awards or something.
Yeah, I think it won Best Picture actually.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Kevin Spacey and that one girl, whatever her name is. You
the cover of that one. No, I've never seen it. That's the rose petals?
Yes. Yep. That scene is him fantasizing about. Like
a high school chick or there's different.
I'm pretty sure it's his daughter's friend. I'm pretty sure is what that was. So it's been that long since I've seen it.
Curious, was it Kevin Spacey, the one that was daydreaming that?
Yes.
Well, that kind of came full circle on him, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. No, it did.
Yeah.
But I have seen American Beauty.
1 for 1. Or one out of 2. We've seen opposites here.
Yep.
Okay. And this next one. Okay. Have you seen it, Fight Club?
Yeah, that's one.
I figured that was a lock.
I think when you're like a guy in your teens and early 20s and you watch Fight Club, you're like, oh my God, this changes everything. I think it's kind of up there with 300 as things are different now that I've seen this movie. But Fight Club. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I wouldn't mind watching it again just to see how it does hold up.
It's wild as I'm thinking about it. So in 1999, for dudes like us, if you're our age or maybe even 10 years older than us, in that year, it was Fight Club, Boondock Saints, The Matrix. Talk about movies where you watch it and you're like, oh, yeah, you're like, oh, that changed me, that's
hardcore.
I think,
I'm not sure if this is on your list, but I'm pretty sure 7 came out in 99 as well. It's, a lot of bangers.
Yeah, so you're 2 out of 3. Next one, more of a curveball-ish, I would say. Have you seen it, October Sky?
No, I have not.
Do you know what October Sky is?
I don't think so.
It's a good movie. We watched it in school. I think we watched it in physics
is it a
class.
war movie?
No, it is. I think it takes place a little bit.
I got the synopsis here. Yeah,
it's like these kids that they're building rockets is what I kind of remember of it. Yeah,
true story of Homer Hickam, a coal miner's son, who was
Homer
inspired by
H. Hickam. That's what it is. Yeah.
Was inspired by the first Sputnik launch to take up rocketry against his father's wishes. No, Dad, I will launch that rocket. You can't stop me.
I don't care, Dad. I'm launching that damn rocket.
I'm going to launch so many freaking rockets now.
And the dad's over there like, oh, Dad. dang it. No son of mine's going to be launching rockets.
I'm going to hoard freaking rocket fuel so much.
You're going to work in the coal mine and die young whether you like it or not, boy. That's what we do in this southern town. That's what we do in this West Virginia town. I'm just making stuff up, but I think that's what it's kind of like.
I've never seen the movie, but I'm pretty sure that those are actual lines from the movie if I had to think about it.
So you have not seen October Sky?
No, I've never really even heard of it.
Okay, 2 out of 4. It's a good movie, I think. It's a decent movie. Okay, I picked this one because you made the comment last week or last time we did one that you said, if it was Saturday Night Live around that time, you've seen it. So this one popped out of it, and I'm like, this will put that theory more to the test, I think, here. Do you remember Molly Shannon from Saturday Night Live? So do you remember the movie Superstar?
Yep, I did see it.
Okay.
Yep. I actually remember a lot of the girl classmates of mine, Above and Below. I remember all of the girls, that movie seemed to resonate with them. Probably because it was one of the few movies at the time that had a female comedian, a female being funny in it, not just a dude being ridiculous. But it was funny. Doesn't she go like to Catholic school? Is that her whole thing? She's like this. Have you seen it?
I've seen it. It's been a really long time ago, and it's not like on my list of movies that I'm like, oh, I have to watch that again. I'm pretty good.
Molly Shannon is super funny. She's ridiculous. She's good. I have seen it. I don't remember much of it. But then there's also all the SNL skits of it too.
Yeah, and I kind of merge it with that. But she's maybe one of my more favorite female SNL comedians. I think as I think about it, she's good.
Yeah, she's very good.
So you've seen it 3. Mm-hmm. So you're at 3 of 5. 2 left. Okay. We'll do the one first that I think you're more likely to have seen, so that we have more build up on this last one.
Yeah.
So have you seen it? Wild Wild West.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wild Wild West, also a 1999 classic.
I remember going to that one in the theater, and
I think I went to that one in the theater.
Yeah, I remember thinking, damn, that big metal spider is kind of creepy, actually.
That one really hit for our age. That was a really age-appropriate movie.
When you're like 10-ish, that's who that movie is made for, is people that are about 10 that have a hard time distinguishing between what's real and fake and all that. And the thing in the beginning where they had those things on their neck where the saw blades are coming after them, they're like magnetic. That was so crazy, yeah. But
the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was really hitting a stride in there, I think, too.
Oh, yeah.
Not particularly with that movie that I would say necessarily.
He had the soundtrack to go with it. I remember seeing the music video on MTV.
Wow. Wiki wow,
going straight.
West. Desperado.
With the, is it the
Six
sample
gun
from...
of this, ain't none of this.
Yeah. I had a friend that would sing that all the time. Yeah. Like, all through high school even, just because he thought it was so funny, ridiculous. And there's the South Park episode where they're like talking about it, like Jennifer Loveless with the big evil spider and the big metal spider, and like going on and on about it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even remember how that went now, but I remember Cartman, I was talking about it in that one South Park episode.
Okay, so you're 4 of 6, and you guessed 5, so it all comes down to this one. Ooh. Maybe the biggest wild card of the week, though.
Here we go.
Have you seen it? The Iron Giant.
Yes, actually, I have. I believe that is one of the last, like, really hand animated cartoon movies that ever existed. I did go to that movie. Actually, I went to that movie in Phoenix, Arizona.
In 1999.
Yep, in 1999. Yep.
So you've definitely seen it.
Yep, I did see that one.
In convincing fashion, you have seen it.
I've
never seen the Iron Giant.
Oh, really?
But I know it has. I know it's like people like it, right? Like I don't know why that.
I think it holds up pretty well. I probably haven't seen it. I probably saw it once after it came out or after it got out of the theater. But I do think that movie is somewhat regarded somewhat highly still.
I think it is too. Which why it stuck out to me. I'm like, why haven't I watched that? Like, I'm probably gonna watch that one with my kids at some point in time here.
Yeah, you should. The IMDb rating is 8.1. I mean, that's not a rating they just give away. You know?
No, it's weird. It stuck out to me odd. I'm like, why have I never seen that?
Yeah, I'd actually, just for the sake that it's actually animation, I wouldn't mind seeing that again too.
So 5 for 7, pretty good week.
Wow, some real interesting people in the cast on that thing.
Who do you got?
Harry Connick Jr.
Okay.
Jennifer Aniston.
Okay.
Whoa, the voice of the Iron Giant. The voice of the Iron Giant.
John Cena.
It's an action star. No, not John Cena. I'll give you one more guess.
Russell Crowe.
Vin Diesel.
Really? That's great.
I'm actually
That's the
curious.
funniest choice possible.
Oh man, I'm curious if it's actually his voice or if it's just so like manipulated and distorted that you would never even know.
I don't know what Iron Giant is about, but he's like, I live my life one Iron Giant at a time.
Like, man, this Iron Giant from outer space sure is into racing cars.
Like, the only thing better than being a giant is family. I love my family.
Like, I don't think the people that wrote the script had any clue what this giant was supposed to say when they put this
Vin
together.
Diesel really ad-libbed a lot of things about family and race cars.
Yeah, that all 20 years in the future came full circle.
Yeah. So good week.
So watch that one.
All right, I'm gonna watch that. Follow up for me. Little how the tables have turned tables on this one, where I need to follow up on that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good week of Has He Seen It?
Right here, according to Google, the Iron Giant is considered one of the worst marketing snafus in mainstream movie history.
What do you like? It wasn't marketed well. Like it was a really good movie, and it didn't get marketed well, so people didn't watch it.
Yeah, because
that's probably why I didn't see it.
I think it was a bit of a flop at the box office. And it was,
but people decided it was good.
Yes, due to the marketing and promotion of it.
That's interesting.
And people say marketing doesnn't matter. Could have had the Iron Giant
2.
Could have had the Iron Giant 10 by now if they would have marketed it better.
Vin Diesel wouldn't have probably taken on that.
Vin Diesel wouldn't have had time to be in the Fast and the Furious.
And Triple X was that Vin Diesel?
Yes, Triple X. And what was the other? Chronicles
Surprisingly
of Riddick.
not a pornography show.
Did you ever? Yeah,
like, it was really in for a rude awakening when it was not a porno.
I think isn't Triple X that starts with the Rammstein concert?
I think so, right?
Yeah. And then do you remember
Triple X feels a little. What's that movie? Super. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, you can't remember the name of it. It's where Mad Max. It feels a little Mad Max. It's a little Mad Maxy.
I kind of get what you're saying.
Like
but
that.
Mad
I haven't
Max
seen it for like. I haven't seen Triple X forever.
Better.
That's what I mean. Like it feels like a really cheap knockoff Mad Max to me.
Yeah,
from what I remember, I haven't seen Triple X since it was new, and I don't know what year that came out. So I'm assuming 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But my recollection of it is a cheap, shitty knockoff Mad Max. That may be way
That's
off.
probably accurate. I can't really even say. I just don't remember.
Someone can put this into a quote. Triple X is a cheap, shitty, knockoff, garbage version of Mad Max.
And then we'll look and be like, oh yeah, those movies
put that
actually
in a
had nothing
stupid
to
black and white quote.
Yeah, those movies had nothing to do with each other. So man, what statement was that guy making there?
Okay. That wraps up Has He Seen It for this week?
Good stuff.
I wanted to tell everyone a little bit about Juggernaut AI. Juggernaut AI, as this meet prep is coming up for the Massenomics Lift Hard, Live Easy meet, I've seen everyone in the gym is all restarting their Juggernaut programming to set it up. They're going to get we're like 32 weeks out or something. I think someone was telling me.
It's like a week off from being the perfect 6 months, I think.
That's why everyone's kind of like in limbo right now. They're all waiting because they're all wanting to restart their Juggernaut to pick July 22nd.
And I should say the perfect 6 months. The perfect whatever default. It's not 6 months. It's the perfect whatever thing that Juggernaut wants to default out to.
So we've got so many people, locally in the gym and stuff that use Juggernaut AI. Everyone's pumped to utilize it for this meet, which it is kind of the perfect thing to be able to help you go through the phasic structure of hypertrophy, strength training blocks, and then peaking. And it actually peaks you for the meet, which if you're new to ever doing a meet or actually for testing maxes, it's going to take you through some stuff that like, I've never done this before. But you're going to understand at the end of it why it is you're doing that. When you see the results, you're using Juggernaut AI still.
Yep, just finishing up my bridge block. I'm going to get back after it pretty soon here.
So check out Juggernaut AI, but make sure to go, when you go check it out and go get signed up, go through the web browser. Go through your web browser. It's juggernautai.app and get signed up there, because that's on the web browser. That's where you can use our discount code, which is Massenomics, and that'll save you 10% for the entire life of that membership at juggernautai.app. Thank you, Juggernaut.
And it also lets Chad know that we're actually doing something over here.
Yeah, it makes him continue to want to be friends with us and stuff like that. So it makes him continue to return our phone calls.
Yeah, it puts money back in the friend budget is what it does.
Yeah. We've been doing a lot of withdrawals. We need to do a few more deposits.
Yeah, start
so.
depositing those checks. Yeah. And speaking of the Massenomics Lift Hard Live Easy Classic, word has come out that the bars will be provided by none other than the good people from Texas Power Bars. And when we're talking Texas Power Bars, we would be just dumb to neglect saying Buddy Caps. And that he
We'd
first
be
started
horses'
lifting weights.
assholes if we didn't talk about Buddy Caps.
And just how terrible it would be if we didn't tell you his origin story. And it started in the late 60s when he began powerlifting, or when he began lifting weights in the late 60s. And then he began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records, and soon-to-be Lift Hard, Live Easy classic powerlifting records, have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit TexasPowerBars.com.
Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
Thank you.
Okay, just when you thought we were done with segments and games, I've got one more for you.
Oh, you pull me back in.
Yeah, I keep reeling them back. This one is overrated, underrated. Are you familiar?
I sure am.
We're recording this on December 22nd. We are 3 days out from Christmas, 48 hours out from Christmas Eve. This is going to come out well into the new year, so it's above and beyond that for you listening. But anyways, you can, as you're listening, you can remember back to Christmas. It wasn't that damn long ago, so just shut up
There's
about
still
this
that
being
little
old.
twinkle of Christmas in your eye.
Yeah, so what we're going to have here is a special Christmas version of Overrated, Underrated. And because I just said the magic word Christmas version of Over Under, you're going to notice if you're watching on video, we're going that and that.
All right, Tanner's got red and green lights behind him now.
Yeah.
Santa Claus
I'm manually
is coming
doing
to
what
town.
I'm doing right here, but I wish I could just make this do this automatically. So some of our upgrades is part of it is lighting here. So there's some lighting that I can control for the computer. And now switch that to red because of it's our special over under Christmas edition right here.
There we go.
You do have your druthers, Tommy, and you just cannot ride the line. No line riding at all whatsoever. So overrated or underrated? Eggnog.
Oh, I'm not sure if I've really ever made a real attempt at drinking eggnog.
Same.
It's like most people, it's like they've maybe had a sip or two of it in their life and go, oh, gross, and you never touch it again, right? Isn't that?
That's my boat.
I kind of thought that's how everyone was with eggnog. And it blows my mind if there's actually people out there that are like, oh no, I like eggnog. Actually, I take that back. I had roommates. It's their seasonal thing. I thought it started as a joke, but it's still going all these years later, which makes me think it must be real. They do eggnog and blackberry brandy. I don't think those things are supposed to go together, but they do it every year, and they still do it to this year. They're still doing it. So, I guess there are people that apparently do like eggnog, but I'm going to say it is overrated.
Agreed. That is the correct answer. Okay. Overrated or underrated? Christmas movies.
I want to say they're overrated because there's so many that I feel like just phone it in. It's like, oh, we got the Christmas movie. We get the sentimentality thing going, the sadness of family or the loss of the Christmas spirit, and it's all falling apart. And then at the end, we make them into a believer and everything's good. There's so many that follow that generic formula. Even the good ones kind of follow that generic formula, but there's just way more misses than there are hits. That's why I will say they're overrated. But that being said, there are still some good Christmas movies. There's just not as many good ones as there are really bad ones.
Yeah, I probably agree that they're overrated, although there are some we watch every year because I am.
It's almost as part of the tradition.
Yeah.
Like Elf,
Yeah, I like
think
the
Elf
tradition
is
of-
always good.
we-
Elf is always good.
We just watched Elf a couple nights ago. Everyone in my family likes it. It's fun to watch Elf. We watch Home Alone every year.
Always good.
Because we
Always
love Home
good still.
Alone. I love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yep, always
That's
good there,
probably
too.
that's my favorite Christmas movie, and I've been saving it till like
Yeah,
we'll probably
the
watch
time
that
gets a
tomorrow
little
night. Like that's
closer.
going to be like my last one.
The final hoorah. When I was
so
a
I
kid,
really-
I always
yeah.
liked the animated Grinch. I always thought that was awesome as a kid.
Oh, I still love that. And the Grinch, well, we'll get more to this, but I guess I'm not actually going to even speak on that right now. But I do like the Grinch, the animated Grinch. The remake of that's more recent, I think, is kind of trash.
Well, but there's been several remakes. There was like the Jim Carrey remake in like 2000, probably 3 or 4-ish.
Those are all trash, actually. It's just the original animated one that is
That
good.
one is the best one, for sure.
And my most controversial one that I think that I really like, just out of tradition, is A Christmas Story. Some people usually love or hate A Christmas Story.
As a
I
kid,
really like A Christmas Story. but
I
some
always
people
remember that
don't
being
like
on
it
as
at
a
all.
kid and not like
24 hours of A Christmas Story on like TBS every year.
Yes, that's
where
right.
They just replay.
As a kid, I never really liked it. I do enjoy it more now as an adult.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a kid, that one was a tough one for me.
We always used. My mom liked it, so we always watched.
Oh,
that,
I always
watched
remember
that,
being it on. Like
Yeah.
to me, that is
Yeah.
like the on TV Christmas movie when the holidays get near. Like because Elf and some of these other ones didn't exist yet, and so that was like the
Right.
movie that was always on.
Right. I made my kids watch that one. Jack, not so much a believer in A Christmas Story, but can't all be home runs, can they?
That's right.
Overrated or underrated? Stockings. I think I'm going to caveat one thing. I think we've probably done a Christmas version of Over Under sometime back in the year.
Probably.
I may have picked the very same damn 4 topics for all I know, but we're getting a fresh take on all
You
of
could
them,
have,
so
yeah.
Over
Stockings are probably underrated because I think it takes, if you're going to do stockings, it takes the pressure off the gift thing because like, oh no, stockings are meant to just be dumb, cheap little gifts, whatever you throw
Right.
in. Like if you get a stocking and there's candy in it, or you're like, oh man, I'm so pissed. I got a stocking. All there was candy. It's like, no, you're just
Yeah.
happy no matter what for a stocking,
Right.
it's all good. So I think they're probably underrated in that it's a lower effort, lower risk, lower everything, lower stakes gift. Like people are
Yeah.
just happy for things in a stocking. Not that I'm around people that aren't happy for gifts in general, but
Right.
you don't feel like you got to try very hard on a stocking,
Yeah, true that. Last one. With all the marbles, you're familiar with the marble. I think check that out if you play Massenomics bingo.
Are
This
these
one's with
Christmas
all the
marbles or regular marbles?
These are like snow globe style Christmas
All
marbles.
right. Yep. I
Okay.
can picture them.
So overrated or underrated Christmas music?
It's overrated. Like
I think so.
it is.
Well, actually, some I like and some
Yeah.
I hate the Mariah Carey song. That is the worst piece of music ever to me. And I know people that's like not a hot take because a lot of people either love it or hate
Yeah,
it. But I do not like the Mariah Carey song. I
totally
get
get why people can like that song. I do.
Yeah.
It's like super catchy and it's kind of an epic fun feel to it. It's overplayed like more than any other song. Like no doubt about that. But I can understand why people like it. So that's why I can't trash on it too hard because I can be caught having a fun time with that song playing in the right moment. But yeah, it's kind of like Christmas movies. There's so many Christmas songs that are so blah or suck or boring. Like they exist just purely out of tradition. I don't think any merit of the actual
Well, and it's all the
song.
remakes of the whoever the most popular
Artist is of the
mainstream country
time,
music,
like doing their-
Luke Bryant singing whatever,
Yes,
or
and then
I don't
here's
even know. I'm just making up names.
here's
but-
Justin Bieber's take, and now here's
Right,
Ariana Grande's
right.
take on it, and
Yeah.
here's there's just so much of that. But that being said, there are some classics in there for sure. They're just a lot of crap.
That's
in
true.
there.
We have I'm kind of a record guy. Obviously, we know if you've been
clearly,
listening around
clearly,
here,
yes.
I'm a record guy. My favorite Christmas album we have a few different Christmas albums. My favorite is a Bing Crosby Christmas album that we have, and I really like the Bing Crosby. It's like old, obviously, and I just really like that. I can put that on, and it's super fun in the house. Like everyone, I don't know. I really like the Bing Crosby Christmas album. It's really good.
I still, this time of year is, if you're a Spotify user, well, I'm sure it's the same thing for Apple Music. You go to the top charts, Christmas songs take over. This year's the exception because SZA released her new album, and that is just pushing all of the Christmas songs out of the top. But I just had to pull it up right now. The number 2 song, SZA has number 1, but the number 2 is Brenda Lee, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. And I still am like, her voice has got a little, the way she nails that song. She does.
Yeah,
That is a Christmas song that gets overplayed and it's been covered 10 million times.
Yeah.
Her original is still the best for sure there.
I think so too.
I'm just looking if there's...
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch, though. I really like that song.
Yeah.
That's a great Christmas song.
Yeah, I'm looking like Michael Bublé. Those ones never did anything for me.
I do not like those.
No.
I do not care for those.
I will give it up for the... I don't know.
Is there any Bing Crosby on the list anywhere that you can see? That's probably
Not
too
in the top
old.
50 right now. The top Christmas songs right now are "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." Number 2 for Christmas is "All I Want for Christmas Is You," Mariah Carey. "Jingle Bell Rock" by Bobby Helms, and I wouldn't even know who sings half of these songs.
Oh, right.
Everyone knows the songs; they just don't know who sing it.
Right.
"Last Christmas" by Wham. That is a bit of a banger. I'll give them that. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Andy Williams. "A Holly Jolly Christmas." Let It Snow, Let It Snow. Santa Tell Me by Ariana Grande. So that's getting in that more new school. The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole. Feliz Navidad.
Ooh, that's the Taco John song.
Yeah, that song. I think Jose Feliciano was so inspired by Potato Olays that he wrote Feliz Navidad, I believe.
It's funny if you live in our part of the... When that song, I've heard that song maybe like 3 or 4 times this Christmas season, and when it comes on, every time I'm like,
"Oh, it's Taco John's commercial."
Like, that's good marketing.
It is.
That now you cannot hear that song and not think about like, oh, I should get some Taco John's.
Yep, it's so a part of it, 100%. Nachos Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Nachos Navidad. They're one and the same.
Have your day the Mexican way.
Do you think
Taco
he gets
John's.
any? Do you think he gets? Well, I'm
I
sure the
hope
guy's
so. I don't
dead.
know,
Do you
somebody.
think his estate gets any type of royalties off of Taco John's using that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
There's got to be some deal worked out there.
Good news, Tommy. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated.
All right.
Do you have anything to give yourself in?
Oh, yes.
As a little
These
reward?
might be the coldest beans I've ever served up ever.
Cool beans.
Those are served up at a blistering, feels like negative 45.
Almost negative 50. It feels like.
God, that is so cold.
They don't make gloves that can keep your hands even remotely warm in that.
No, that's not a thing. That's not.
This morning I'm wearing like these super thermal insulated gloves that you couldn't pick up your phone off of if it was sitting flat on the table. You couldn't pick up your phone while you're wearing them because they're so.
You basically had
like,
2
cumbersome.
giant burlap sacks wrapped around your arms.
It's like you could be outside for 2 minutes and it feels like the air, like you're not wearing gloves. It feels like you're standing out there like
really at this point it's like gloves are just stopping you from like the instantaneous burns that you would get without having gloves on.
It just makes it like a burn, like this last joint of fingers just might as well, you could just saw them off is what it feels like. It's so bad.
Yep, those are the first to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like that we bookend this episode with weather.
Yeah, more
that feels
weather.
Really, really appropriate, doesn't it?
It sure does. But damn, that wind is something else.
It ain't the cold temp that gets you; it's the wind chill, right?
Kind of is, yeah.
I hope. I think what's going to happen is everyone that listened to the 351 a week ago, and they thought, "Oh, I noticed that was a little off compared to what they usually do." Then they just finished up this episode here with 352, and everyone just said, okay, that's
okay.
better.
So are we at the part where we can just congratulate ourselves and pat ourselves on the back here?
I think so.
I am at the phase where I feel really like I will say right now, remember back in the day, every once in a while on my camera, we get the little Skippy. We get the little Skippy icon. The Skippy icon turned on my camera very early. So
okay.
There's at least going to be a couple second gap in my video. It's how many times did it do that? But
right.
Audio wise, talking, this felt so much better than last week. Like 10
million
and
some of
times
that
better.
video stuff, like still 90% of our listenership is listenership and not viewership. Like our audio presentation is the most important, and the most important thing is today we were able to have this felt like the Massenomics podcast. No doubt.
I
this
100% agree.
Even as I'm talking, I'm like, yes, this is the Massenomics podcast. Nothing is differing about it. We can keep going for another 100 years because now we have, whereas last week I was like, shit.
Yep. There was a couple times in there where
Yeah.
I was like finding myself like it was feeling exactly like we were in the basement at my house.
Yep.
And then if it wasn't for like a notification popping in Discord or whatever, like that was the only thing like breaking the illusion for me and like bringing me back to earth was like, oh, no. Like we actually are not in the same room right now. Right.
Okay. On that note, check out our website. We did just restock the Navy Lift hoodie. This is an important point. Won't get into all the full details, but we do have something very, very cool coming up. And Tommy, where's my camera? Okay. I just want to make sure
what the camera
can't
in front
see.
of me.
Yeah, I just want to make what it is or isn't picking up on. But there's something really super cool that came in.
Do I know what this is?
Yeah, it's going to be our, occasionally we like to do cool stuff for our supporting members.
Oh, yes.
And
Okay,
that did show up. So we're going to be working on that here in early 2023, getting that out to all of our supporting members. So what you need to do as a listener that's not yet a supporting member, now is the time to sign up. Because if you sign up now as you're listening this, like just go freaking do it now, because there's something that's going out cool to all supporting members. So what you want to do is get in before that line in the sand, because what we got to do is eventually draw a line in the sand for this particular fun supporting member item. So what you need to do is get in before that cutoff date when this physical item goes out to everyone that's a supporting member. So if you've been on the fence, this is your warning and your advice, whatever you want to call it. Get signed up right now to become a supporting member. Multiple different options. Some of them are pretty inexpensive, and you end up with some cool, unique items that the rest of the Massenomics faithful don't even get an opportunity to get their hands on.
Yep, they'll never have a chance. Only you.
Yep. So get signed up to become a supporting member immediately. Now is the time. Now is the time you want to do it. If you hadn't joined up yet, now is the correct time to get signed up. Also, leave us a 5-star podcast review. We want to push towards 500. We're not really making it. A few are trickling in here and there, but we're at like 455. Let's get to 500. Help us do it. Leave us a 5-star review, and then just tell any of your friends about the podcast. Next time you're in the gym and you run into someone that you think doesn't know much about Massenomics, tell them about the podcast. Try to get them listening. We'd love to have more listeners following along with us. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And you can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but nobody cares about that. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.